Breaking news, Canon leaks the R6 Mark III, and it's bad news for Sony. But Sony fights back with their own eye-controlled autofocus patent. Leica leaks their new M-EV1. We see some new Nikon lenses and a couple of new Ricoh GR cameras. I'll tell you all about it, but first I want to thank our sponsor, Squarespace. Squarespace.com/Tony is where you start whenever you want a new presence on the web. Any new project, any new business, your photography portfolio, your video reel, whatever it is, Squarespace makes it incredibly easy, even easier than ever, because now you can use AI to build a website for you, at least as a starting point for you to customize and make your own. Not only do you not need to be a nerd anymore, you don't even need to be a writer. It can help you out. Try it out completely free, no credit card required, by going to squarespace.com/Tony. That'll get you the trial, and then after you love it, the coupon code Tony will get you 10% off. Thanks, Squarespace. First, let's talk about this new Sony patent for eye-controlled autofocus. Now, looking at the patent, it seems like it functions very similarly to the way Canon's existing eye-controlled tech does. Wherever your eye looks in the viewfinder, the camera detects that and picks that autofocus point. So if you want to focus in the middle, you look in the middle and it picks that autofocus point. If you want to focus in the upper right, you just look in the upper right corner and the camera will pick that autofocus point and pick that part of the frame. Canon's already put it out to market. Sony gets to see, okay, people have some interest in this. Let's just make our own version of it so that Canon isn't taking the customers who really think that this is a must-have feature. My own personal opinion, having tested the Canon eye tracking autofocus, is that I never wanted to use it. I tested it out. I tried it in a variety of circumstances, and then I turned it off. It doesn't solve a problem that I have. Picking an autofocus point isn't the problem that it used to be in the old DSLR era, because now we have all this subject awareness. You know, if I am tracking birds, it'll find the bird and focus on it. If I'm tracking a person, it'll find the person and focus on it. And that's usually good enough. And those times where there's multiple people and I want to focus on one or the other, I just sort of focus and recompose, like point the camera at the person I want to focus on and then recompose. Maybe there's some niche sports stuff where you want to be able to instantly pick out one player on the field over the other where it could be helpful. But generally, this is solving a problem that I don't have. Sony's patent does say that it's going to be better than Canon's. It's going to be more accurate, and it's not going to require the viewfinder to be as big and bulky as it is, unlike the Canon R3. Nikon also launched a couple of DX lenses. These are lenses natively designed for their APS-C cameras that have a 1.5 times crop factor. And this is really big news because Nikon cameras have been pretty good, but their lens selection has been so bad that I just haven't been able to steer people to them. But now we have a 35 f1.7, which basically can be your normal lens, perfect for street photography, with an equivalent of 52 millimeters f2.6. So that'll give you a little bit of background blur. They also announced a 16 to 50 millimeter f2.8 lens, so faster than the standard kit lenses that come with APS-C cameras, and it has image stabilization built in case you have one of the APS-C bodies that doesn't have a stabilized sensor. So that's going to be the perfect walking around lens. This is equivalent to about a 24 to 75 f4 lens. Ricoh also announced a couple new variations on their GR4 camera. Now, the GR3 was an incredibly popular and fun street photography camera, just a simple fixed lens camera. These new variations are the HDF and the monochrome versions of it. So the monochrome version basically only takes black and white pictures because it has a specialized black and white sensor. The HDF version has a special filter in there which can adjust how highlights look, and it's basically just like an analog in-camera special effect. There was a version of that for the Ricoh GR3, and some people liked it and some people didn't, but it's nice that they're providing different variations for us. My only complaint about this is that I pre-ordered the GR4 and I still haven't gotten my GR4. So maybe we should ship the first version of this before we start making other versions. Now onto the big story, the Canon R6 Mark III. It's going to look basically the same as the previous generation, the R6 Mark II, which is not bad news. It will have the sensor from the Canon C50, which is a 32 megapixel sensor. This makes a lot of sense because Sony's competitor to the R6 Mark III, the A7 IV, has a 33 megapixel sensor, and the Sony's high resolution made enough of a difference in the image quality that it caused us to recommend the Sony over the Canon for a lot of types of shooters. But the Canon does retain a couple of key advantages, which is the high frame rate. 40 frames per second is 4 times faster than the Sony A7 IV's 10 frames per second. So sports and wildlife shooters are going to get a lot more out of the Canon. The Canon will also be superior for video because the Sony has 33 megapixels, but a pretty slow readout speed. The Canon R6 Mark III should absolutely be able to do full width 4K 60 frames per second, which the Sony cannot do. But Mirrorless Rumors is also saying it's going to be able to do 7K open gate. Open gate just means that instead of cropping the video down to 16:9 like the video you're watching now, it'll come out in the standard aspect ratio for photos. So that gives you a little more latitude if you want to use a single video clip and crop it to both horizontal and vertical formats for social media. It'll also have a full-sized HDMI port. The only reason people use this is to output the video to an external recorder, which might record in higher quality, or just give you a bigger display in which to manipulate the camera. Having a full-size port as opposed to micro or mini HDMI port means the connection's more secure. It's less likely to wiggle loose and ruin your entire shoot, so it's kind of a must-have for anybody who's serious about video. And it signals to me that Canon really does want this camera to be serious about video, and based on these specs, it sure seems like it is. The memory card configuration is one CF Express Type B card and one SD card, so you'll be able to record redundantly, but I bet when you're recording 7K open gate video, it will only go to that CF Express Type B card because only that card would be fast enough to handle that much data. Those specs are cool, but as a camera reviewer, I'm a little bored. Every camera has better autofocus, more frames per second, and that's it. And that's so boring. Whereas I'm currently playing with this camera Kyra from Camera Intelligence, and it's an interchangeable lens camera that mounts directly to your phone like this magnetically and instantly connects to the phone and uses the phone as a screen. Every time I take a picture, it's instantly on my camera so I can instantly share it. And because it uses the intelligence of your phone, it has GPS tagged with every photo, so you can find where every photo was taken. Every photo is securely encrypted, so if somebody steals your camera or your phone, they can't get access to it, right? That seems important for anybody who takes private or confidential images. Every picture you take can be instantly backed up to the cloud. Again, that's something that professionals need. It also has built-in AI editing, which is mind-blowing. Like I can take a portrait of somebody and tell them, change the color of the shirt, remove the flyaways from their hair, and then share that picture instantly. Genuinely useful stuff in a camera that professionals need. And yet Canon's professional cameras, Sony's professional cameras, Nikon's professional cameras, all these big professional camera companies still just keep giving me higher frames per second, better autofocus, even though those aren't really things that I'm struggling with at the moment. As further evidence to how non-compelling all the recent camera innovations have been from Sony, Canon, and Nikon, the camera I'm shooting with now is an A7S III. It's 5 years old. Now, I review cameras. I touch almost every new camera released, and I have not bothered to upgrade my 5-year-old A7S III because it's fine. The autofocus is fine. The resolution is fine. The frame rate is fine. Now, there are things that would compel me to upgrade, like if I could instantly transfer the files from this to my computer or my phone, I would upgrade in a second because just transferring the files takes me a few minutes and is a waste of my time. Or if the screen were bigger or bright enough to see in the sun, those are things I would care about. If the camera had anti-theft, so I didn't have to be so paranoid when shooting in the streets of New York, I would pay for that. But no camera company is offering me all the features that I want, and instead they just keep giving me the same improvements over and over and over again, even though the resolution, the frame rate, all of that is well beyond what most people need nowadays. In the comments down below, let me know what you think of the new Canon. Does Sony need eye tracking autofocus? Would you like to see some different features in the next generation of camera, or do you want all the leaks just to be slightly higher frames per second? And don't forget to check out our sponsor, Squarespace. Start at squarespace.com/Tony and check out the things that they have to offer because you'll be pretty amazed. It's not just a static website where you display things. You can connect to so many different services. You can have a store and take orders from clients and have that money automatically go to your account. And you can take appointments from clients or sell workshops like I am. The opportunities are pretty much limitless, and it's completely free to try. So why not go to squarespace.com/Tony and see what it can do for you? Make that idea you have start to become a reality. And after you love it, the coupon code Tony will get you 10% off. Thanks, Squarespace.